weeks ago, I was talking to a friend, and we've had this talk going on well over a decade. I don't know if I had enough or I just reached a point where it was, look dude, either you're gonna shit or you're gonna eat off the pot. You've been talking about this ideal for over a decade. And he kind of looked at me and he's like, that's a little harsh. It's like, no, you're harsh on yourself. You're wasting your time, your energy, and your dreams. Because you've been talking about this. I started a company, shut that one down, and started another one, and you're still in the foundation stage. This is the deal. If you're going to be a true hustler, you're going to have goals. Written, clear, and concise goals with a deadline. Even if you just write your goals on a sheet of paper and put them in the drawer, you're going to be ahead of 90% of the people out there who don't do this. You've heard it before. People have talked about it. Write your goals down, but most people don't do it. They refuse to do it. So, to separate the dreamers from the doers, because it's great to be a dreamer. I dream a lot myself, but I cut that down to that much time, and I put this much time into doing shit. Because you're only going to go so far in life just thinking and wishing and wanting and hoping and dreaming. It's just not going to happen. So this is just a way to pull you forward. When you wake up in the morning, you should be looking at your goals. They should be somewhere where you can readily see them, just to activate your brain that this is what I need to be thinking about. This is where I'm going. This is what I want in my life. It has to be somewhere. I've got a dry erase board that's in my office. Then I walk in, bam, there they are. I see them every morning, and I put the board purposely up high so I have to look up to my goals because I'm climbing that hill. You've got to write them down. You have to have them first, then you have to write them down, then you have to give yourself a deadline. Because if you just have some, people are like, yeah, I have goals. You have whims. If it is not written down, there's not an actionable plan, and there's no deadline, it's a whim. It's a wish. It's like Moby Dick, a great work of fiction in your mind. Because chances of something magical, mystical, majestical happening are slim to none. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So if you're in that spot where you have all of these ideals, how do you download the ideals from your mind onto a sheet of paper? Simple. I got you. I got you. First of all, you go into a room. You turn off your phone, your TV, the emails. You turn everything off and give yourself an hour to write down your goals. And it's going to be a process, because if you've never done it before, you're going to you write down everything. I don't care how ridiculous, I don't care how crazy it is. Everything you want to do in life, write it down. The second stage, now that you've got something to shape up, you got some clay. Now let's start molding that piece of clay into a sculpture. You're like, okay, does this really fit into what I really want to do with my life? Because some of the stuff is just nice to have. It's not going to give you a lot of energy. It's not going to make you get out of bed and go, wow, I want to do this. So you pull those off the list, and then you're going to come out. There's going to be a core group of things that you really want to do, that you're passionate about, and then that's when you start creating steps. Now, how do you create steps? Because people are always going, it's so overwhelming. I have no money, and I want to make X amount of dollars. Every journey, every relationship, everything starts with one step. Let's, just for the sake of this video, do an exercise. You want to make $400,000 a year, but you currently make $25,000. That's a huge stretch. First of all, write down the $400,000 somewhere. But it's going to be easier for you to go from 25 to 50. Because see, there's going to be some linear progression here. All right, I want 400,000, but short term, I want to get to 50 as soon as possible. Then you get to 50. Then you crank up. Okay, I want to go to 75. Then you crank it up again. Then you get to 100. And over a period of time, because you're moving forward, you'll get to your goal. You can't get there any other way. Also, in terms of making money, there are certain costs, benefits, and penalties that must be made. Because the thing is, it costs to be the boss. And I'm not talking about throwing up money in the air and making it rain and other bullshit like that. No, it's going to cost you a heavy, heavy emotional and sometimes physical toll on the things that you have to do each and every day to move you forward to your goal. That's paying that cost. It's an emotional cost. It's a mental cost. It's the cost on your soul sometimes. That's the cost it takes to be the boss. All this other stuff, because anybody walking around talking about, I'm a boss, I'm a boss. They're not. Because if you're a boss, people can see it when you walk up. It's just who you are. It's not what you say, it's who you are. That's just a little nugget for you to digest on, because if you want to be the captain of your own destiny, you have to start steering the ship at some point. And sometimes to get to steering the ship, you got to work below. You got to put the coal into the engine room. You got to put you got to do some heavy lifting. There's so many people who are like, I want to do it this way. You know, I'm really smart, and hey, there's some brainiacs out there that can do arbitrage and leverage certain situations, but those to me are very niche type moves, and only a select few can get away with it and make a lot of money, because most people who try that stuff are going to fail. Now, if you start off with a realistic goal, realistic effort, and work at it, you have a greater chance of realizing your goal. The problem that trips up most people is that big T word, time. I want it now. I want it now. I want my 400,000 now. Fool, you're not prepared. You are not that valuable yet. When you become that valuable, you'll get the money. Did you hear what I just said? You're not that valuable yet. It's going to take some time, because if you're only making X amount of dollars right now, because people are like, yeah, I'm a CEO type. No, you're not. If you were CEO type, you'll be a CEO. It's something you will become because you're working on it. You can just say all this stuff all day long, and it's just going to sound real good to you and your friends. But at the end of the day, what are you really doing to move forward towards your goals? What are you doing? So just a quick recap. Write them down. Come up with a plan. And set some deadlines. Now, let's talk about the thing that everyone doesn't want to talk about. You've done all that. You're working hard. And you're not getting anywhere. Big whoop. Wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. Because somewhere in your formula, something's wrong. So you got to go back, do it over again, then execute. Because this is a process of discovery of the inner you. Because if you don't know yourself and you don't know what you're capable of, it's going to be a vetting process. I know, it's a bitch, right? It's a bitch. It's not easy. It's not going to be overnight. I'm not going to promise you that you can pull some buttons on the microwave and then bam, 30 seconds later there's your success. That's unrealistic. Let that go. True and lasting success takes time. Some people, it takes decades. That's the reality of it. So you want to be a success. You've got that burning drive. You have the desire. You need to couple that with some serious action and penalties for not executing. Now, what's a penalty? I'm not talking about you take a whip and you just smite yourself. I smite myself. No, nothing like that. It's just like, if I don't get X, Y, Z done, I'm not watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I guess, Sherry got checked because, she's like, who gonna check me, boo? Well, Bravo checked her ass because she ain't coming back. You're not gonna watch. Or if I don't get an hour of writing in, I'm not doing this. If I don't get these things done, I can't play. That's the penalty. If you don't get your work done first, you can't play. You can't go on vacations. You can't hang out with your friends. You need to have a certain level of priority of your goals, your business. Put that first, put the energy there, and I guarantee you, you're going to be more successful than you were before, because I'm telling you, I see it all the time. It's to the point I can walk into a business and just look and see how successful they are, just how they set up the store. It's like, oh, this place ain't going to last. Oh, this place has got it going on. There's just little hints, just from years and years of being in the business, you could just tell. If you're dealing with someone that got grandma's inheritance and decide to open up a store, they ain't going to last long because they don't know what they're doing. But that's the reality of it. All right, so hopefully you pull something out of this video, and hopefully you'll take an hour today, turn off the cell phone, turn off the computer, turn off the television, music's okay, get a sheet of paper, or if you're a person that's got to do it on the computer, and write your goals down and start coming up with plans to make it happen. Because it will give you an incredible sense of self-confidence once you write them down, have the plan, put the deadlines in, and actually work on them for a week or two. You're going to start feeling better about yourself because you're moving forward. All right, this is Glendon with the Hustler's Mindset.